books for sale if somebody wants to buy one. I'll be happy to sign them. If somebody's got a question, I'll try to answer it. That's
I have a question.
Sure.
So I heard you on Talk with the Nation last week, and I thought it was interesting they invited other cab drivers and ex-cab drivers to call in and comment on your stories. And
Man, those people went on and on, didn't they?
They did. So I was just curious, have you been able to have that type of conversation in such a, obviously not such a world arena, but in that way before?
Have I?
Yeah.
With other cab drivers,
or just like kind of, it was, I'm sure you've spoken with other cab drivers, but it seems very different as far as the type of people that were calling in,
well, I mean, like one of the perks of the job is that you don't really have coworkers. I actually don't. I don't talk to cab drivers very much. I mean, I read that one piece about the old guy, the old timer, but I hardly ever have any interactions with them at all. But yeah, I guess, some of the other cab drivers, at least judging by the people that called into that program, sure like to talk.
They were much more interested in talking about themselves.
Well, sure, yeah, but I'm the kind of like all the stuff that happens in my book. I didn't. This is my passengers started it basically. I'm very happy being completely silent. I don't start conversations. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah. It seems like much of these stories are a recollection, or perhaps like a compiling of characteristics of people. It's impressive that you have this recollection. How much of this, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to make you feel like you have to talk yourself up or down, but how much of this is memory or fictionalized or? Nothing
fictionalized. I mean, I don't use names for fairly obvious reasons, but oftentimes, but no. Sometimes I'll write about something that happened a couple of years ago, but mostly, I mean, the book started. There's a blog, it's chicagohack.com, where most of these stories appeared at first, and most of the stories were written within a couple of days of the events happening.
That's still pretty impressive.
Also, I mean, the only kind of note-taking I do is text messaging, and I'm on Twitter all the time, like writing this shit. Little bite-sized parts of it, and
do you do that while you drive? Because I think that's legal.
Oh no, never. No. Yeah, it's very bad. No.
Any stories about people trying to pick you up?
Yes, there are. Yeah.
Are they in the book or?
Pickup. I don't think the pickup stories made the book. There's a. If you hunt around the blog, there's a few. Of both sexes. But yeah, it's sort of, it's not flattering to be somebody's last option of the night. I mean, no matter how hot they are. I mean, they're wasted and they didn't make it with whoever they were set out, and it's just, that's like a disaster lawsuit waiting to happen,
So how do you deal with it? Well, it's in your blog, so go read about it.
I tell them I'm flattered and thank them, and then ask them for what's on the meter and try to say good night.
And do you have any favorite authors?
That's, a lot, all over the place, but well, been rereading Nelson Algren lately.
Yeah, I was going to mention him.
Yeah, it's sort of a natural. I mean, Nelson Algren introduced me to Chicago years before I ever got here, so.
Bukowski too, or are you not?
Sure. Yeah, I like Bukowski. Yeah, I like lots of different. I mean, see, the thing is that I never set out to be a writer. I'm a painter, and I draw and I paint, and I started writing because of this crazy ass job that I got, because there was this stuff that kept happening, and drawing pictures wasn't enough, so I had to start writing it down.
It's better than fiction.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. Yeah, I've never tried writing fiction. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I read a lot of fiction. Fiction's great, but I just don't. I don't do that. JR.
Yes. I noticed a lot of pieces in your book specifically talk about your experiences where customers bring up your race as a cab driver.
Sure.
And I was wondering what that must feel like when people kind of point out the obvious, maybe you're drunk or whatever. What is that relationship like?
I mean, I could have written a whole book about. I have a chapter called "The Only White Cab Driver in Chicago," because and obviously it's meant facetiously, but yeah, it's this thing that happens. They get in, they look at me, and they announce, "You're white," and which means that you can complain about every cab driver of every other race and nationality because the coast is clear, apparently, you know. So we can talk about those people.
Just like the one that you read.
Huh?
Just like the one that you read.
Yeah. The Voice of America guy. Yeah, the guy that wanted ethnic food. Yeah. Yeah.
Indian food at the Jewish Dollar.
Yep. Yep. The one that referred to our now. Well, I mean, it happened before the election of Obama, but he referred to our current president as a monkey. So yeah, I get a lot of that. And usually what I do is just let him keep talking. And what happens eventually, usually even the drunkest ones start to apologize and say that they're not racists. But it's sort of like the people that say, at the end of the night, argue with each other about not being drunk. If you're saying you're not drunk, you're drunk, So it's kind of like, it's that kind of thing. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's not pretty. It's not a pretty side of humanity. Yeah.
I know it's not the same as at Rahm Emanuel, or at Mayor Emanuel rather, but are there things that started on Twitter that literally are verbatim in the book? Like, is there an evolution from tweets to page?
Yeah. There's phrases. Yeah. I mean, obviously, as anybody who's been on Twitter, it's 140 characters, so it's pretty short. Actually, at the back of my book is sort of like the greatest hits of the tweet. Their tweets. Actually, it's in the postscript.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Those are straight from Twitter, basically. So yeah, and the ones that stick in my head lead to sort of more elaborate the stories that make up this book.
Are there other cabbies on Twitter that engage with you?
I think there's a couple. There's one guy who, he pretty much uses it to get fares. He'll announce where he is and stuff.
Huh.
I think there's a couple, not so many. And yeah, I get people asking me for rides on Twitter, but sometimes I agree and sometimes I just ignore them. But it depends.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Thanks, JR. No, I've actually gotten some regular customers that I met through Twitter. People that work in bars and record stores. Anyone else? Enough?
What's your background?
Background?
Yeah.
And in what way?
Are you from around here? Are you from Chicago?
No, I'm from the Soviet Union. It's just a country that no longer exists.
You speak Russian, yes.
Yes. The evil empire. Yeah, my family came to America when I was 7 in 1978. And they live in Boston. So, and I ended up here for art school. I went to the Art Institute.
Sure.
That's why I'm here. And speaking of, if you want to see some of the original paintings and drawings from the book and from other stories, we'll have them on display starting October 14th.
Yeah, that's Trish, and the cards for that show are right here. That Lloyd Dobler Gallery. Yeah. Good? Enough? You want me to read more? Yeah. I don't know what happens now.
That's it. There's
All right.
coffee and donuts still up, I think.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
you. Thank you.